Hello, hello. What is up, everybody? Alright, let's see. I am trying to figure out how to change the name on Twitch, but that is not working. So, you know, there's always something that isn't working. Let's see here. This is what I need. Oh, I figured it out. So, we are doing a little bit of an earlier stream today. I wanted to test out a different time and see what is the best time to stream at and catch more people. So if this is a good time for you, let me know. I'd love to hear it. What? Oh, this is annoying. Let's see here. For some reason, I was streaming privately on YouTube, so. Well, there we go. We are live on. What the heck? Is Twitch not working now? Oh, there we go. Okay. Now it's public on YouTube. But it's not working on Twitch? What? I don't know, man. For some reason it's being annoying on Twitch. What is up, land of Akun? Akun? How do you say that? Taear is the faction of humans. They are like inventors, and so they have a lot of really cool tech. What's up, Jovial? How are you doing over on YouTube? Why? What? Okun, okay. Welcome to the stream, everybody. If you are new here, new to the stream, this is the world of Aetos, and every live stream I go through a little bit of the story. You guys can interact with the story and all of that fun stuff. You can pick one of the 4 factions. You can pick Alani. They're the dwarves. They are good at mining and building weapons and armor and anything craftsman related with metal and stone. The land of Chahar. So to address your question, Okun, Chahar is the kind of the warlords of the world. They are very good at fighting and strategy, and so that's kind of the balance between Taea. Taea isn't as good at that. They're good at their technology, while Chahar is really good at producing warriors. And then down here we have Anyn, and they are the elves of the world, and they are the wisest of all the races, and they are constantly striving towards a peaceful kingdom ruled by the elves. And so they're kind of like in the range of balance. You kind of have Chahar on one side where they're very, very warlike, and then you have Taea on the far other side where they're very sciencey and hold on. Can you see my mic now? Is it in the camera? It is not. Okay. Wait, okay. So yeah, they are very sciencey and good at inventing things. And then you have Alani, and they're kind of in the backseat a little bit, but they're like really good at building things in a way different from Taea. They're good at building things. Taea is good at innovating things, and then Anyn is kind of in the middle as far as balance goes. They're really wise. They kind of take from each faction, so to say, in terms of what's the word? In terms of traits. What is the most dangerous creature you could encounter in the wild, and where? That is a good question. Off of the top of my head, probably the dragons of Dragonwood are the most dangerous, but they're also the most peaceful. Okay, so in terms of creatures, you have the dragons of Dragonwood. They're probably the most dangerous. Back in the Dragon Wars, people feared them, and the dragons could have ruled the world, but they decided to kind of come to peace with the humans, and over time, as the Taea increased their technologies, the Dragonwood got smaller and smaller. So I'd say the dragons are probably the most dangerous as of now. In the future, I'm adding a few more creatures, but I need to kind of flesh them out and see where it's going. Hey, what's up, Cookie? How's it going? Oh, what's up, Mary? How are you? I hope you're doing okay over on Twitch. Got quite a few viewers so far. Now, those are the creatures, but for beings of across the whole entire board, I mean, that's a very, I don't know, there's quite a few. It's very complicated. So, I mean, as far as creatures go, I'd say dragons for now are the most dangerous. We are going to start probably pretty soon on the story. It's gonna be more just story instead of a battle for this stream. Do you have any secret cults or political instances that try to scheme and stir the world into chaos? Yes and no. A long time ago, up here in the Whispering Wastes, there was a faction of mages that kind of provoked a lot of Drunland and Taelar. But recently they've gone pretty quiet as of right now, where we are in the story. And so, what is actually happening in the story for those who are not aware? Oh, okay. And what the World Fair is, it's just essentially a giant showcasing of Taelar's projects. And so, oh, you lost me? Right, hold on, I gotta look at my stream on Instagram. Oh no, it looks fine. Am I... Oh, okay. So, Robert, I see your question there. I'll get to it in just a second. So, for the story, so in the World Fair, it's essentially just the showcasing of Taelar's projects, essentially a science fair. And so, um, people from all over the world go to the World Fair. And during the World's Fair, at the Great Feast at the end, the Prince of Chahar, Prince Zared, asked for the Princess of Taelar's hand in marriage. And she was embarrassed and denied him. And the king, what is his name? Let's see here. King Aetos, I believe, if I remember correctly. See, the problem is I've been making up so many names recently that I can't remember all of them. So, King Aetos, he kind of frowned upon the actions of Prince Zared and asked for the emperor to apprehend his son, the Emperor of Chahar, by the way. And so he did, and the prince and the Emperor of Chahar went back to Sukra, and after a while, the Prince Zared really wanted the princess in marriage, so he traveled back to Bayar, snuck into the palace, and tried to kidnap her. He was caught by the king, and the king of Taelar executed him, and the Emperor of Chahar heard about it and attacked Taelar. So then Taelar attacked back. That was the first stream. And on the first stream, Chahar was sent, lost that battle. And so, oh no. Okay. And so then the Chaharians went to Anyn, their old allies, and asked for an alliance once again to fight against the Taelar. Some of the Anyn did not want to ally with the Chaharians, so some of them went to Taelar, but most of the Anyn are now marching to war with the Chaharians. And so that is where we are at right now. So, Robert, you asked, how do you come up with the names? I've been looking for a few names for my indie project, and I can't think of any. I really like yours. Do you have any tips? Great question. So how I come up with names is pretty simple, actually. I normally go to a map of the world, and I kind of create a culture before I create the name. And I like, so for Chahar, for example, I wanted something that was a little bit more Middle Eastern, kind of deserty. Warriors, they wear a lot of red, etc. So I looked at the Middle East to the Indian subcontinent and kind of just picked names that I kind of liked from that and smashed them together. And I think this was just an original name that I came up with out of nowhere. So that's how I did Chahar. So really, you just have to examine maps and cultures and kind of decipher what names fit your world, and then you can take parts of this name and parts of this name and maybe parts of this name, put them all together, and then you have Alan, for example. Or you can take from other books, for example, like Alan is inspired by the dwarves of Lord of the Rings, like Khazad-dûm. So that's essentially my formula, I guess, for naming things. So I'm gonna hop into the story. What do you mean, Cookie? Did people ever manage to avoid Aetos' gaze? So yeah, I'm gonna hop into the story now. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll check them periodically. I hope you guys enjoyed the story, though. Welcome to Chapter 3, Stone and Sockets. As I said last time, the dwarves of Anyn are marching off to war with the Chaharians against the Taea. After the Emperor of Chahar left Lena Desapil, the High King sent several legions marching across the lands over the hills of Parsh to the front lines to aid the Chaharians. Scouts of the Taea, often traveling into the Chaharian lands, scouting out the region, saw massive ranks of many elven soldiers, their banners high and proud, the color blues and greens all waving throughout the company. The scouts, alarmed, quickly set off for Bayar, riding as fast as they could on their horses to alert the King Drado of the the Anyn and Chaharian alliance. The scouts stumble into the palace of Bayar, almost out of breath, exclaiming their news to the king of the alliance. The king, troubled, sends his generals into a meeting to discuss their next plans for their strategy. Somewhere down the line, the Alan learn of the Chaharian and Anyn alliance. Likely, they had many travelers and traders going to and from Anyn reported, and word spread, and the rumors spread like wildfire over the land of Alan, and soon everybody across the continent of Aetos knew that Chahar and Anyn, two of the strongest powers in the world, were coming to fight against Taea. You mean people? What do you mean break its rules? Cookie. And so the king of Alan Hul, King Draven, was quite alarmed. And so he sent to King Drado and invited him to the palaces of Telachan. King Drado, eager for allies in the war against the Chaharians and Alani, quickly rode from his capital city of Bayar all the way down here to Telachan. The road was quick and boring, but soon he was there in the high palaces of Telachan, deep under the earth, and he admired the architecture of the dwarves. He, as a fairly young king of the Taelar, had never been to Alan Hul, and in fact he had never been outside of Taelar except to visit Sukra once in his life. The old alliances of the world had fallen apart after the Dark War, and many had forgotten the old alliances, but the dwarves Alan Hul still remembered them, and that was the reason why the King Draven asked for King Drado in Telachan. King Draven met with why did I name them that similar? King Draven met King Drado in his palace. Walking around the table, he greeted the taller man with fervor and excitement. Cookie, to your question, no, nobody has been able to escape my my pure omnipotence. And so the King Draven asked for King Drado to have a seat. King Drado, no. Okay, I need to change this name. Okay, any name suggestions for the Dwarven King? Because I need something. Quick recap. All right, quick recap. Prince of Chahar snuck into Taelar to kidnap the princess. The princess did not want to, and the king executed the prince. Emperor of Chahar attacked Taelar. Taelar attacked Chahar and forced them back. Chahar went to Delanin, and Delanin is going over here to help the Chaharians. Now the Taelar are going over to Alan Hul to ask for an alliance, or he's hoping for an alliance. Bob, King Bob. Dren? No, because the problem is I can't have a DR. It's just a little bit too confusing for me. So, like Draven and Dren and Drado, I need something just a little bit different. Maybe it starts with another letter. How about something like we'll do yeah, DR does sound dwarven, and that's kind of why I chose Draven. I think I might do something that starts with a K, like Karsus, maybe. Vand, King Vand, maybe that's actually not that bad. Traken or Traco, Traken, King Traken. I actually kind of like that one. That one's okay. Anybody else have any more ideas? Corsus. King Corsus, King Traken, King Vand. Okay. Your choices are King Traken, King Corsus, or King Vand. Let me know what you guys think. It looks like Instagram is voting for Corsus. YouTube is voting for Corsus as well. And I should start some music while I'm here. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. Okay. Let me know if you guys can hear the music as well. If it's gonna actually start, that would be wonderful. There we go. Alright, we'll call him King Corsus. Alright, where was I? So, King Corsus invited King Drado to have a seat at his table. A overflowing mug of ale set up in front of him, a dwarven staple made from... Alright, music is on. Wonderful. Overthrow a king. You can't really overthrow a king right now. It's just not a component of the game so far. I'm not really sure how to handle that. And why can't you replace them? Because typically, okay, I'm not gonna go into a whole bunch of details. If you overthrow a king, logically, a general or someone else of influence is going to replace them. You guys aren't massively influential in the world. Like, you do have influence, obviously. Oh, is the music too loud? Let me know if the music is too loud. And so, you have influence, but you're also more of like a common soldier with a little bit of like a captain in a massive army type of thing, if that makes sense. Alright, so the staple of Alani was, yeah. And so the King Corsus sat down across from King Drado, taking in a deep sigh and asking him about his family, talking just small talk, getting the conversation started. After mere minutes of conversation, the King Corsus set his hands on the table and looked King Drado dead in the eyes. My boy, you are a young king. Okay, I have to I have to work on my on my voices. I feel like he would have a Scottish accent a little bit. No, that's not it. See, I sometimes I do wish I was like trained in. It's a bit too loud. Okay. All right, let me know. Yeah, that is better. Sometimes I wish I was trained in voice acting. That would be fun for these. Quite loud. Alright, now that, I'll turn it down. Hopefully that's better. Alright, okay, I got it, guys. I got it. No need to worry. I think I got it. Don't make fun of my Scottish accent. It's terrible. Why is the audio so bad? As in my mic, or as in the music? Good luck with your calculus, Jojo. Check. Alright, check. Check. I'm a bit quiet. Oh, that is the problem. That's why. Okay. I forgot. Okay. There we go. I didn't set my audio volumes at the right setting. I am. Yeah. Cookie, no one is going to be king, or none of the players, because first of all, I need to have control over the story for the overarching story, and that is also not fair to other players for one person to be king. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Live streaming, am I right? Alright. So, as I was saying, the King Corsus sat down and looked the King Drado dead in the eyes. You're a young lad, King Drado, and you've lived many years on this earth as a man, but as a dwarf you haven't lived that long. I have heard stories, many stories from a long time ago. In fact, I used to live out these stories that people think are myths now. These were from the days of the Dark War, lad. I'll tell you something. Taea used to be the strongest ally of Alani. We pushed back the Chaharians and the Delanin together. The heck, what is this accent turning into? I'm trying so hard to picture King Corsus in my mind. We pushed the Delanin back from our borders, lad, and together we grew strong. So this is why I offer to you our help against the Chaharians. To be honest, this war has been long in the brewing. Many eons of strife against each other. Peak Finnish accent. Why? Okay, hold on 1 second. I am... King Drado looked at King Corsus with confusion, wondering exactly what he meant. And he set aside his drink. What do you mean that we have long been allies? My fathers were only... My fathers never told me anything of this. Well, lad, I shall recount to you the tale. Long ago, Alani was the pinnacle of the... Oh my gosh. I can't remember. Alani was the pinnacle of the Aetosian continent. We were the leaders. Alright, I'm gonna forget about this accent. We were the leaders of this continent. We were the kings. Our empire stretched far and wide across all nations. But that came to a close when the Chaharians rose. They allied with the Delanin to attack us and drove our people back into Alani. I will admit that they were tributaries, and maybe it was part of the Alani problem. That was our fault. But in a sense, it was a betrayal to us. We fought back, and we couldn't hold our front lines until the Taeas, your people, sent your weapons and your machinery to our defenses. We were able to push the Delanin back. We now hold the same border that we did that long ago. So many ages ago. And so that is the reason why the Chaharians and Delanin are so strong, lad. And that is the reason why we must send our troops to aid you. If Taelar falls, so does Alan. If Alan falls, Taelar falls as well. We must hold strong together and revive the old alliance. What do you say to that, King Drado? And King Drado thought for a long minute, knowing that he would, of course, accept the help of the Alani, but wondering what it would mean for Taelar in the future if the Alan and Taelar grew strong together, and what that would mean for Chahar and Alani. If the whole entire continent of Aetos was entwined in battle, what would that mean for the other side? King Drado agreed, and King Corsus offered him or his family to stay in the mines and the great bastions of stone whenever they needed. King Drado was given a tour of the mines, finding the different pathways, the different pathways into the mines. He was shown the vast assortment of metals that were mined and refined in their refineries, and a plan started brewing in his mind. Explosions shook the earth with massive magnitude. The newest mining invention of the dwarves, dynamite, was shaking the walls. Pickaxes rung throughout the halls, and many dwarves hung from pulleys, descending down into the depths. Intrigue and creativity flowed through his King Drado's mind, and he went back to Bayar with inspiration. He called together his great scientists, a massive meeting of dozens of his top scientists and generals, and relayed the information of the dwarven mines to the scientists, and especially the explosions. Explosions had existed for a very long time on the battlefield. Black powder and explosions and dynamite were occasionally used in the battlefield, but their high danger often discouraged their use on the battlefield. But the king wondered, what if that could be wielded by the most common soldier? And so that got the other scientists thinking as well. And so after that meeting, the scientists went to their laboratories and began crafting new ideas for what this explosive could look like. And soon they came upon this one idea. It was a portable explosive, but the explosion wasn't what injured. The explosive wasn't the weapon. The weapon itself was just this big. It was just a round tube with a sharp, pointy end, like an arrow. And that is where the rifles began to be developed. Many weeks were passed. The Alani and the Taelar had met in the regions between Chahar and Alani, fighting almost night and day against their opponents. And I'm going to take a pause to look at chat. Can I come up with a leadership system so we can become kings and be able to do stuff without affecting much of the lore gameplay, except for having large influence over decisions? No. The game is going to stay how it is. I like the system. It seems the most simple without getting too complex. Yeah, I just feel like that the way that we're doing it now is the best way. By the way, I would like to say, for the new viewers, if this is interesting you, you might consider checking out my Discord, where we do have a faction channels. And then you can also take part in quests and get influence and rise the ranks of your faction. And you can become a commander of your battalion. And so what that'll do is there are battles that take place, and so you're kind of like the leader, so to say, of those battles. So the more influence you have within your faction, the more influence you have over a battle. And then the more influence your faction has, the more influence that faction has over the battle. And the Discord is just a great place to talk with your fellow fans about the world of Aetos. Also, quick, let's see, where is it? Quick self-promotion. If you have not seen my recent posts, I have a new product called Custom Mappables, and what it is a blank map. All of the geographic features and cities have already been laid out, but all of the names are empty. So you can fill it in for your RPG, tabletop RPG worlds, or if you're a world builder, you can make it however you want. It saves you time, so you don't have to draw any of this. And also, it's a lot cheaper than a commission. So if that is interesting to you, check out the link in my bio and download it today. So now back to the story. The four factions fighting on the border, and while that was happening, the rifles were becoming more developed, more complex, and soon the first official rifle was shown to the king. The king was amazed. It was like a bow and arrow, or a crossbow, except the bullet was penetrating the target in the blink of an eye. The Discord's name. I actually have no idea what my Discord is called. On Twitch, it should be in my bio. Let's see here. I don't know if I actually have a bio on my Twitch. Okay, Graham's writing, like, of course you guys know what my Twitch or my Discord is called. And I don't. That's embarrassing. And so the king was amazed by this rifle. Factories were switching from the factories that were creating the crossbows and the bows and arrows for the soldiers were now re-implemented with the technology of the rifles, and the rifles were taking Taelar by storm. The Alani tanks were tanks, as they were called, massive dwarven soldiers with tons of armor, like literal tons in weight of armor, were given these rifles, and they were decimating the a few guerrilla fighters that were breaking through the front lines. But they only had a few rifles at the time. Soon, though, the factories were pumping out enough rifles to fill the hands of the common soldier. And for the first time in history, the dwarves and Taeans were marching into battle, their soldiers with rifles. That is where I'm going to end the story for today. Now, that was kind of a shorter stream, so I'm going to I'm still gonna be able streaming for a couple minutes. If you have any questions. So be sure next week, about 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Be sure to tune in, because there will be a battle between all 4 factions, and that'll be the first massive battle of the story. I'm really excited for this. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. I am definitely looking forward to that. So be sure to be there. If you aren't, I will have the videos posted on Instagram and Twitch, like a temporary VOD, and YouTube. Oh wait. What the heck? Okay. So for the people on Twitch, let me add my link tree real quick. And then it'll be in my bio really easy. All right. Let's see. Yep. Go ahead and go check out the bio now. The link for the Discord is in there. It's in my link tree. If you are interested, of course. Why does Anyn have a gigantic identity crisis? Do you guys have any recommendations or critiques about my performances? I'd be interested to hear what you guys actually have to say about this. Well, I mean, technically everybody is the literal opposite of Anyn. What do you mean by the literal opposite? Okay, yeah, I can do that. That's probably. Let's see, how would I do that? Maybe I'd put it in the Welcome to the World of Aetos channel. Maybe. Well, I mean, so Cookie, this world, the world of Aetos, I have created thousands of years of lore into it. And also, this is a personal map. So, if I don't like a suggestion, then I'm just not going to add it, because this is essentially my dream map, so to say. Dream map sounds a little bit weird and romantic, but it is like, it's my ideal map. So I just want to put in things that I think would be really cool in a world. And so if something doesn't fit, then I mean, it doesn't really matter. Yes, I have all the lore. The story, the future is kind of gray. I'm not really sure exactly what's happening. I'm kind of the past lore is already created, and so I already have all of that, and that's dictating what is happening now. Based on what you guys are suggesting and what you guys are coming up with on the Discord and in the comments, I mold the story kind of to fit that, if that makes sense. So the world of Aetos is already crafted, and all of it is mentally drawn out. I'm just filling it in piece by piece. Obviously, each day I'm adding to it, and so then these streams are just like a story. I think what I really want to do, I haven't quite figured out, and if you guys have any ideas for this, what I want to do is kind of have like a daily episode, but a story episode. So like, imagine a TV show or an audiobook, but every day there's like a minute tidbit about the episode, about the story. And so like, for day 1 I do 1 minute about what's going on in Chahar, and then day 2 1 minute about Chahar and Alani, or whatever. I don't know. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna do it yet. I think today I might set that. I'm not sure. Yeah, I really need to just kind of figure it out. I don't know. If you have any suggestions for that, let me know. But I kind of want it to be like a TV show almost, where you tune in every day and then you kind of hear this lore and you're like, oh, that's really cool, kind of thing. I don't know. So yeah, if you have any ideas for how I should do that, let me know. So I'm going to call that a stream right there. Seems like everybody has pretty much left. If you guys have any questions or ideas, as always, my DMs are open. Go ahead and let me know. I hope you guys had a good stream. Hope you guys have a good rest of your great day. Hope to see you guys next week. Also, if you have any ideas about the story bit tidbits, whatever, I don't know what to call it yet. If you have any ideas for that, let me know. I'm not 100% sure about that. Also, be sure to go check out your the custom appables. The link is in my bio. This time it actually is in the link in my bio. So I hope you guys have a great day. See y'all next time. Peace.